I was having a meeting last night, and the TV was on. It was just about 9 o'clock, and O'Reilly was on. And somebody was sitting in my office, and they said, "My gosh, I don't want to see this. La, 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 la. I don't want to see this on Tom Hanks. I like Tom Hanks."
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Hanks is up the ante now. He's said that the World War II was nothing but a racist war. And we're doing the same thing that we did before. Now listen to Tom Hanks.
And you compared it to what's going on today.
Well, I said it's familiar with what's going on today. You can walk into the National World War II Museum in New Orleans in the Pacific Wing, and Stephen Ambrose himself has made that very point. It's up in black and white. That after Pearl Harbor, these people that were very, very different from each other, the Americans and the Japanese, who had different heritages, who had different theologies, had different ways of government, had a different sense of society, went at it tooth and nail. It would be naive to assume that racism was not part of the quotient in World War II.
That was nothing of the quotient.
No, you know what it is?
There was nothing
Who
of it.
did that? Who did that? It was Hollywood that did that, made them into the evil Japs.
Yeah.
It was FDR that made them into the evil Japs. It wasn't the average everyday person. If I may quote South Pacific, you have to be carefully taught. To have that kind of hate, you have to be carefully taught.
Isn't there, though, like a line here? Because, certainly if you look back at some of the propaganda that was going on at the time, it's certainly racist by today's standards and everything else. But, I mean, there's a difference between why we went to war and some tools used by certain people
exactly
to
propaganda back and forth was
exactly
of course.
Right. We didn't go.
That's not why we
did
went.
not go to war. My grandfather, my grandmother, they are the quintessential. My grandfather, his idea of not being a racist was this. So this is probably 1972. And my grandfather was already, an older man. And he said, no matter what people say, those colored people are not bad. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah,
I got
you
that
assumed
one.
they were.
Yeah.
Right.
Just thinking that. Okay. So that was. I mean, they grew up in a different time period. I remember, because I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, my grandparents knew of people that lost their houses to go to an internment camp. When they tried to get their land back, they couldn't get their land back. And I remember my grandparents saying this was wrong. I mean, the average American is, I was thinking about this the other night. Do you remember what we found out about the Soviet Union? Do you remember how we thought all of these people were evil SOBs? They're just going to kill us all? No, don't get me wrong. The government would have. The government would have killed all of us if they thought they could stand in the end, and they would slaughter their own people. Well, separate us from some of the, excuse me, as Stu, you said, and I think it was a different meaning, but I'm going to use your meaning. Separate the American people from the tools in the government. There is a difference. There is a difference. And our government has had bad people in it. But if you think that the people are any different in the government now than they've ever been, well, no, actually, you may be right. You may be right. We've had periods of great, great darkness where we have just massive corruption. I'm reading about the 1800s now, the scandals that were happening in Reconstruction, and how evil that stuff all became. Just became grotesque. And we've gone through this period before.
I know on the fourth hour today, it's James K. Polk Tuesday. And
You're such
we're going to get into some of that a little later on.
Jerk.
We've been planning it for a while.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Today's the day?
The dark days of the James K. Polk administration.
It's all coming up. I mean, don't miss it.
I don't know why.
James K. Polk Tuesday
Seriously,
on the fourth hour. Fourth hour.
I can get kicked in my head by my 5-year-old. He can just come beat on me every day.
I know you don't need this here.
I don't.
You don't need this here.
We figure you have the media and all that other stuff that's always going on. You have, of course, your family kicking you in the head, as you just pointed out.
Yeah.
Then you have the fourth hour, and then you have the Insider Extreme event tonight. So it's really a full day.
Full broadcast day. It's going to be yummy. It's going to be yummy.
But there's a lot more from Tom Hanks that we should get to if we can. Yeah, there's more.
Do we have time?
No.
Oh, jeez. All right, we'll do it after the break.
Mm-hmm.
Here's our number, 888-727-BC. I don't know if I want any more. I want to have some part of me that likes Tom Hanks still.
Bad enough already, isn't it?
Oh, jeez. Here's our number, 888-727-BCK. And don't forget, tonight on the Insider Extreme, live broadcast from Times Square on Broadway. Let's do a show. The future of history. You can see it live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Insider Extreme only. Sign up now at glennbeck.com. 888-727-BCK. All right, so Pat wants to wreck Tom Hanks even more, and
he's doing it himself.
Here it is.
All right.
To connect that today, do you support President Obama's decision to escalate the war in Afghanistan, to take down al-Qaeda, and the fact that he has not ended the war in Iraq yet?
Remember, his initial statement on MSNBC was that World War II was racist and a terrorist, and that sounds just like what's going on today, right? Remember that?
I'm not so sure that even though we do have people that are trying to kill each other and shooting guns at each other, the connection there is not as clear cut, and I think it would be foolish to assume that it is. What's going on in Iraq is completely singular to Iraq. What is going on in Afghanistan is completely singular to Afghanistan. I've made
hold on. So just a second. So the American people who are stupid and racist understand the difference between an Afghani and an Iraqi race-wise.
When there is a progressive in the office of the president, yes, but only.
Okay, this is a very. Can we get a flow chart on this one?
Yeah,
I think I'd need a Tom Hanks racism flow chart. When you are attacked by the Empire of Japan,
right?
You go right next. Right, the next box is racist war. When you are attacked by people in Afghanistan, not the country, but the people of Afghanistan, and not all of the people who are being protected by the government of Afghanistan, you can go directly to, yes, that's the absolutely singular event. We've got to do those.
We got to do that.
But only if there's a side box. There's a yes or no question. Is it a progressive president? Or I shouldn't say that. Is it a non-progressive president, a progressive president, or a really progressive president?
It's a really progressive president. So then
okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. All right. And then if you have a guy who's threatening, has already been proven to threaten his neighbors, says he has biological weapons, blah, 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 is doing that. It's so good that he is, nobody knows if it's even true or not, even in his own country.
Then the guy who attacked him is an evil racist, hate monger, warmonger. But
got it.
But the guy who followed up on that war and continues it.
Okay, hang on just a second.
That's a singular event.
Stu.
Got to give props to a caller who just called in with this. I don't know how they remembered this, but going back to The Real America, your first bestseller.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
It's sad because it's like crossing a line that we hoped we never crossed, which was you actually have a subsection in the book called Tom Hanks and Jimmy Stewart, the good celebrities.
Oh no.
Tom Hanks is the ultimate celebrity in The Real America.
Well, you're screwing, Tom. Tom, what are you doing? You say,
Tom, I don't know what you think about politics. I don't know who you voted for. I don't know what your stance is on the war on terror, and I'm happy about that. And that's what it goes into here is Tom Hanks, how he never blabs his mouth and runs his mouth like an idiot.
Tom, don't you know me? We're working there for you. We're in there pitching for you.
You got to ask him if he's working for Potter.
What are you? It's coming. It's coming.
Okay,
are you working for Potter now? You say.